Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network.
I swear to God, some weeks I feel like I'm just in a episodal loop of Idiot of the Week by Frangela.
Yeah.
Yes.
Swear to God, it's here.
Yeah.
I just can't get out of it. It's Groundhog Day for stupid this week. But
Yeah.
what are your questions?
Well, hello. Well, I mean, obviously, as someone at, no offense, 11 billion years old that picked up a rifle and went over and stood with Ukraine, I mean, this has just got to be making you crazy. And by the way, to Schumer's point about, this would make Reagan roll over in his grave, this sucking up to Putin and, basically fulfilling Putin's marching orders, but also, this is over the border security. Reagan gave amnesty, as they like to call it, to millions of undocumented immigrants. Schumer said if Republicans are unable to produce a broadly bipartisan immigration proposal, they should not block aid to Ukraine in response. They should not be resorting to hostage taking, as the senator from Texas seems to be admitting. I mean, what is happening here? What is happening with Republicans who even used to say we have got to help Ukraine?
Yeah, it's not even a question of happening. What has happened to Republicans? And as we all know, we saw in 2016, Donald Trump was beholden to Vladimir Putin. 2017 came out strong and forcefully as almost an ally of the Russian dictator and an enemy of American democracy, enemy of American, defense of Europe. Actually stated to the Prime Minister of Sweden he wanted the United States to withdraw from NATO. These are not idle threats. But so long as Donald Trump is their carnival barker and their chief cult leader, the Republican Party is going to do and say whatever he wants. They are in the last legs of being, not even last legs, they are not any longer the National Security Party of Ronald Reagan.
They are the friends of the enemies of America. Mm-hmm. That's what it's become. Are.
And by aiding Vladimir Putin, they are directly aiding China.
Yeah.
People, they claim that they're number one rivals. They are supporting terrorist nations like Iran. And of course, all of this allows terrorist activities like Hamas to thrive. So the Republicans themselves, with all of these ridiculous trappings of they are the patriots and they love the American flag, yeah, if it were to look like a Confederate flag or a Nazi flag, we'd see more of those flying.
Yeah.
But Donald Trump is the reason that the Republican Party is aligned with Moscow. No other reason.
Malcolm, let's talk about it. So Senator Tommy Tuberville announced he is finally lifting his one-man blockade on more than 400 military promotions. Well, obviously, this is the reporting. This came in the midst of a threat by fellow senators to effectively change the rules and get around him. He knew he'd been outnumbered. He knew that he would not persist for long one way or the other. But the fact is, he's hurt the military. He has done damage, and he is a coward.
Yeah, dramatically hurt the military. Dramatically hurt the military. There were hundreds and hundreds of officers who could not plan their lives, couldn't plan their children's education, didn't know whether they'd be on this side of the world or the other side of the world. And all of those jobs were left open, over, 700 of them all told. And Tuberville is saying, well, I didn't get what I want, but they didn't get what they want. That man needs to be kicked out of office. He's the stupidest man in the job. I don't know. Back then, he's like a Mel Brooks senator, right? From like Blazing Saddles.
Yeah, yes. He's like Harvey Korman.
Yeah. Oh my God, Harvey Korman. Oh my God, yes. They might catch us in our phony baloney jobs.
Yeah.
Somebody hand them the ping pong paddle. Yeah. So we are really moving to where idiocracy is moved out of the House and deeply into the Senate. Yeah. And Tommy Tuberville hurt the defense of the United States at a time when we're meeting global challenges left and right.
All right, let's talk about the House real quick, though, before you go. Explain to me, as an intelligence professional, Mike Johnson and the Republican Party, of course, claimed that January 6th was, help me out here, Chris, FBI agents,
right.
Black Lives Matter,
right.
Antifa.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But he has to blur the faces in the January 6th footage so that the Department of Justice doesn't
retaliate.
Won't retaliate. Yeah.
Right. So what?
Wait, is he talking about the Department of Justice that have had these videos for like 2 years?
Yes.
The very same one.
The very same.
1,000 people that have already gotten 800 convictions. Oh my God. Boy, it's a good thing he's on the job, huh? Oh, yeah. But, I hope he continues legislating like this.
Yeah.
Because if he's that stupid, let's just, what do they say? Don't get in the way of someone destroying themselves.
Yeah.
Don't get in the way of someone being an idiot.
There you go. I hope Jason Whitley is right, who you retweeted. The U.S. will come through for Ukraine. We will not fail. Read Churchill's History of the Second World War. Many similarities in many ways to America, Russian behavior, and also France and the Low Countries. In any event, the U.S. will come through for Ukraine, in my opinion. Man, I hope so. I mean, when I'm making a joke about Putin invading Poland, sort of a joke.
Yeah,
sort of not.
We have to stipulate some things. Number one, Russia really doesn't have any capacity to do anything outside of atomic bombs. They're barely holding on in Ukraine. They are throwing masses of essentially what we call meat attacks at the Ukrainian army. As a matter of fact, I just saw an estimate that there are over 100,000 Russian prisoners were used in Ukraine over the last year. They have just literally emptied all of their prisons, put them into uniform, and they let them go out and be slaughtered. I saw an imagery of a video, actually, from a Russian Telegram channel of a HIMARS attack that hit a convoy of Russian soldiers. Just in that one segment of video, there were 50 dead soldiers. These people are getting slaughtered, but so long as Vladimir Putin sends them to their death, they're happy to go to their death.
Yeah, by the way, you retweeted Aaron Rupar, who said Hannity asked Trump for a second time if he plans to abuse power. Trump admits he plans to do some dictatorial things on day one of his second term. And I was saying they always fall back on this, oh, he was joking, oh, blah, blah. The people that know him best say he is not joking. No.
Right. But, every person that has turned on Donald Trump, every person that has called out his criminality, every person that's identified what he truly wants, every one of them was a Republican. And all they did was said what we had thought that Donald Trump was doing all along. Every person that's testified against him is a Republican. But look at the psychopaths out there. Kash Patel. Kash Patel is a loser intern, who worked for Mike Flynn and then worked his way up to where he's calling himself the designate of the director of the CIA, which is interesting because that's not the actual highest intelligence job in America, but that he's going to use the CIA against American citizens. Well, the CIA has no mandate in the United States. They can't do anything. They have even very limited training ranges that they can operate on. And this guy is now saying he's going to promise to turn the CIA into a weapon against American democracy himself. This is what Donald Trump surrounds himself with. And you all had better take it seriously.
Yeah.
All right. I know there's a lot of whining amongst the kids these days over Palestine and Gaza, but you're going to learn something new, something unique in American history if you don't pay attention to what's actually happening.
We just, talked to Joyce Vance, who wrote a great piece about, with other women, powerful women just talking, standing up for Israeli women who were sexually brutalized. You retweeted David Frum, who said since October 7th, much anti-Semitic sickness has displayed itself on streets and campuses in North America. Social media has made this sickness instantly visible to mass viewership. That's important work. There is a risk, however, that we only see the ugly. I think it's so important, because Dean Obeidallah, who is Palestinian, and, obviously we just had Joyce Vance on, also speaking out time and time again against, Joyce talking about the Palestinian students who were shot. Dean Obeidallah is condemning violence toward Jews and Jewish businesses here in America. I mean, it's so ridiculous, Malcolm, and it has nothing to do. It is not going to help free Palestine. This attacking people here who have nothing to do with the policies of Netanyahu or Hamas.
Right. Well, I got to tell you, the thing that bothers me the most is that, and I get into it on Twitter, I get into it on Spaces and places like that, people who just pretend like October 7th never happened.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how many people were slaughtered. It doesn't matter how many women were raped. Doesn't matter how many babies were killed. It doesn't matter because Israel's dropping bombs in Palestine. Every death that is happening right now, I'm saying this to you as an intelligence professional. I have spent my entire life protecting American citizens, working in the defense of the Muslim world against groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS, who slaughtered Muslims by the thousand. All right. There was a precipitating event here. and Hamas is responsible for every death that has occurred. But to pretend like Jewish women's rapes don't matter at all is disgusting.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm gonna reach out to the little activist crowd out there. You're very small, but with very big mouths. You're all Jew haters. I'm gonna say it. There's not even anti-Semitism, because anti-Semitism hides that phrase behind it. When you say I'm against Zionism, Zionism is just the state of Israel, which is 20% Palestinian Arab, 3% Ethiopian Falasha Muslim, Falasha Jews, Christians and Druze who live there also, and Jews. When you talk about the elimination of the Zionist state, you're talking about genociding them. And you think that you can say that out in public now with happiness and that your friends are going to back you up. It is always shown, if you look at the statistic polls in the United States, Americans overwhelmingly back Israel because of the 7th October attack. Is Netanyahu a great president? No, he shouldn't even be in office.
Yeah.
He should be out. Should there be a two-state solution? Absolutely. We really need to work towards that.
Yeah.
But what you can't do is tacitly, passively support terrorism.
Yeah, Hamas is the enemy.
Like it didn't happen. And worse, come to the United States, to my city, Philadelphia, and attack a falafel deli.
Yeah.
A falafel deli, which has, by the way.
Yeah, Hamas is the enemy of Israelis and Palestinians and any decent people in the world. That's, like we keep saying. I know.
No.
This just feels like this horrible circular. We were talking about the dirty little secret is all these other Arab countries privately are urging Israel on. They all hate Hamas too and see them as the enemy, right? And then publicly they're like, "Oh, ceasefire. Israel's awful."
I said that on this show 4 days after the attacks when I was in Dubai.
Yeah.
That these people here really want the Israelis to finish the job. What they don't want is they believe that this Muslim Brotherhood philosophy, the Hamas religious resistance will infect their nations. They were the biggest cheerleaders for wiping out Al-Qaeda and ISIS. So there's a lot of hypocrisy going on around there. But you know what you can't do? If you are upset about the Palestinian people, as I am upset about the Palestinian children who are dying, you cannot embody that against other Americans just because of their faith. You can't. I defend people against Islamophobia, lived in the Middle East my whole life. You cannot go around and say, yeah, but the Jews. Because you know what? It's going to have an impact eventually on your life and your career.
No, I keep saying it. The GOP and Trump, they're the party of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. So whoever you hate, they're your party.
Trump would have let them do anything they want shy of nuking them.
Yeah.